Hi, good morning, and welcome to today's market conversation. We apologize for starting this. We had a bit of technical issues that we had to resolve, but that's been done now. Good morning, everyone. I see a few of us online, Mr. Bako, Kukubaye, Jafet, Kizola, Roma. Can we all hear me, please? Kindly confirm. Can we all hear me? Perfect. All right, good morning. So let's get down to business. Today we're going to be analyzing commodity currency pairs, which include AUD USD, NZD USD, and USD CAD. And then shortly after, my colleague is going to come on board and do his analysis on indices. So let's get down to business, shall we? Starting from AUD USD on our 4-hour time frame, what do we have in store? Pardon me, it might take time for the different time frames to switch. All right, so predominantly looking at AU, you can see that our structure has been to the downside. We saw a break below and price is now going further down. So based on what I'm seeing, I'm looking at price trading all the way down here to the next level where it may find support, and that is right here, right? So price, remember, price doesn't just move, it always moves to target something. So I see price trading all the way down here. If you're a price action trader and you're just seeing these indicators for the first time, that's fine. What you want to do is you want to pay attention to the zones on the right-hand side. I'm going to be using this crosshair to call out the specific price points so that you can take advantage of that for those who do not have the indicators on their chart. I see a few of our students here, they do, but for those who don't, please just take note of the price around this level. Okay, so price is heading downwards on the 1-hour time frame. What do we see? Price has already broken through all of our indicators and it is still trading lower. So this would have been a perfect place for us to take the sell-off of AUD/USD on the higher time frame. But let's go down to the lower time frame and fine-tune. Is it possible that we see entries to catch the AUD sell-off of this session? Is it possible? For those of us who have joined us a few times, you know that whenever we switch to the 5 minutes time frame, we look for 4 specific things. That is yesterday's high, yesterday's low, day before yesterday's high, and day before yesterday's low. So I'm going to go ahead and mark all of that out into today and wait for price to trade into those zones and see what it does, right? So yesterday's high has been marked out, day before yesterday's high as well. Mark it out into today, and then we're going to go ahead and mark out. We're going to go ahead and mark out day before yesterday's low, which is right here, and then yesterday's low. Okay, so how am I marking out this point of interest? I want to see what price does at those zones. You can see that price already violated the first POI that we had here that could have served as some sort of support, and price has also violated the second POI. So trying to zoom in so you can see the candlesticks proper. Price violated this and then it traded back into our indicators. But from what price is doing, it's looking like it has traded back above to find support and retrace back into the trend first. We're looking at price doing something like this first and then hit the next resistance before it trades lower. So right now I'm going to looking at this zone. This is now a zone and I'm watching now to see what price does. It is either you break below, come back down, break below, and then I see a confirmation entry for me to take a sell of AUD/USD to ride it into the H4 next liquidity points, or I'm going to wait to see if this support level holds and then it just buys back into the zone first before we now start looking for confirmation entries to sell AU. So recap summary, my view on AUD/USD is to the downside, and I am waiting for two things. Break below the zone, that is between 0.62077 and somewhere around 0.61913, right? So it's like you break, you maintain support at this level, and then we trace back into the zone, provided we see our confirmation entry, we're going to take a sell of AU. But if no confirmation entry is formed around the zone and it breaks and it just keeps breaking, then we're going to start watching to see what price does. Eventually, wherever the lower time frame does, the higher time frame will catch up with because price is fractal. If you understand this analysis so far, please let me know before we proceed to NZUSD. You can just leave an emoji for me in the chat box. Are we clear? Are we good to go? While you're typing, let's just go ahead and start on USD CAD on the 4-hour time frame. Perfect. On the 4-hour time frame, now what is the predominant trend? Okay, so we had this high, and this looks like price is printing a lower high. However, following the rule of engagement using our all-weather strategy, price has now broken above all of our indicators and done trend, and it is printing upward, right? So we also have a sunshine printed around this level, and sunshine generally indicates profit taking. So I'm expecting a retracement or reversal on USD CAD. Are we going to see something like this retrace into the zone before you continue buying, or will there be a reversal that takes out the structure points and starts to form a new trend, right? Overall, price is bullish, expecting temporal retracement. Now, on the 1-hour time frame, we're just going to go ahead and mark out certain levels that all things being equal, price should retrace into before it continues the overall move. However, from what I'm seeing, looks like price already did that. Price traded into this zone and it has bought, but we're still going to go ahead and leave out that zone and then mark the other one down below. So sunshine has been printed. The guys who have been buying USD CAD all the way to this point are starting to take their money out of the market. So we should see a pullback. The market has to breathe before it continues its move. So where is it going to breathe into? 1-hour time frame, we're looking at 1.43746. Now, generally, this is a zone of interest and not a specific price point. It is a zone of interest. So I would prefer to even go ahead and do something like this, right? So it becomes a zone that price could tap into and then continue to buy. But yes, generally, right, if you just put down 1.43746, and then the second point of interest on the 1-hour time frame is now 1.42697. And if price traces into the zone, we could be looking for entries on USD CAD, provided it meets our confirmation entry pattern. All right, so now that I have the higher time frame perspective, I'm going to go down to the 5 minutes and mark out my immediate points of interest to see if I can get anything on USD CAD in this session. Now, the advantage that the all-weather strategy has is that sometimes it allows you or gives you the opportunity to be able to take reversal trades. Now, of course, reversal trades are against the trend. So in this situation, I tend to reduce my risk and not go in fully because I'm trading against the market. But for us who stick to trend following trades, then please don't do anything. But let us even see if there's an opportunity to take a reversal trade on USD CAD. Just like I did on AUD USD, I am marking out my POIs. Yesterday's high and the before yesterday's high, and then the final one being the final two, day before yesterday's were marked out already, and day before yesterday's were. Do you see how perfectly in sync the higher time frame POI that were marked out confluences with the 5 minutes yesterday's low? So these are now my zones, right? Is price going to find support at this level and continue the trend of USD of the 4-hour USD trend? Very possible. Are we going to engage because price is here? No, wait for confirmations. Is price going to violate the zone and trade into the trend, right? And then just start to buy? Very likely bought confirmation entry once again. So these are now points of interest that I'm watching out for. Price action traders who do not have it on your chart, just take notes of the price points, right? So when price trades into the zone and you see a confirmation, by all means, I'm going to buy USD CAD. But if it does not and it violates through all of these zones, then we could now start watching. I would have been interested in taking a reversal trade, but look at where the first POI is. It is too close, so it is not worth it, except I want to scalp, right? So I'm just going to be waiting for price to come back into the zones and give me entries. All right, so remember, the entry is just to see a break and a retest on the 1 minute time frame. A break and a retest on the 1 minute time frame. And once we see that, we're going to be entering. And that, I mean, by break and retest, I mean in the direction of where we want to see the market go. So let's open the 1 minute time frame and look at that. Okay, so you see what price is currently doing, right? Price has now traded below all of the indicators on 1M. For me to be interested in taking the USD CAD buy, I want to see something like this. I want to see price break above and then come back to retest. And this will not be a perfect place to enter or something like this, a break and a retest in here. And I'll be looking for entries. I hope that is clear enough. All right. So while this is a remark types, I'm going to go ahead and look at NZUSD before we then do our analysis on indices. You're most welcome, ma'am. All right, just give me a second while the NZUSD chart opens up. Perfect. So as usual, H4. And what do we see? Overall trend is to the downside. Even if you use price action market structure, you can clearly tell that structure is to the downside. Okay, sunshine has also been printed, so I'm expecting retracement. I'm expecting retracement. So I'm going to go ahead to the 1 hour time frame and mark out my POIs where price is likely to retrace into, right? So you can see that price already retraced into or very close to our first POI, but I'm going to go ahead and mark this right here. This is not my spot and certain price to retrace in here. However, it looks like price has already even done that. Price already traded back into this zone and starting to sell. But let's mark that out and see if price gets attracted to that point. I'm going to also go ahead and mark out the second POI, which is our pullback. This is generally in case the pullback. So is price going to trade back into this zone and then continue to sell off from there. All right. So having that in mind, I'm now going to mark out the NZUSD 5-minute time frame. And what am I looking out for? What am I looking out for? Yesterday's high, day before yesterday's high. Yesterday's low. That's that yesterday's already served as a support that pushed price upward a bit. But yes, and then before yesterday's low. So similar to what I did on AU and NU, I'm going to be watching NZUSD to see what it does at this point of interest. So overall, my bias on NU and AU to the downside, expecting retracements, temporary retracements, and if those retracements find valid POIs and those levels hold, we're going to be selling AUD and NZUSD, and then taking the opposite on USD card. I hope this has been helpful to at least one person. If yes, please let me know by leaving a thumbs up in the chat box or anything you'd like to type out before we move into the second section of this part. And if you have questions, this would be the perfect time to ask. All right, thank you so much. Okay, so without taking more of our time, please stick around. We're going to be back very shortly to cover the second half of this morning's market conversation. Cheers and God bless.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the second part of the market color session. How are we doing? Hopefully, you're good. Right, quickly, we're going into the chart, looking at what the market is doing for the indices market. I mean, the US 30, NAS 100, and the S&P 500. It's been quite disturbing what we are seeing recently, right? Price has been proving to be very, very bearish, and it's quite understandable because of the economic team, right? There's been a whole lot of drama in regards to US policy, right, for businesses. I mean, just when we're thinking that we're going to have ease on the tariff conversation, President Trump has, promised to implement a 10% tariff on China today. Also, why China also, yeah, saying they're going to respond, right? They're going to respond by giving also tariff on US imports, agricultural imports to the Chinese state. So the whole economy has been in a, that is turmoil, but something around that. We saw US 30 drop 10% across board, right? We've seen a drop of 10% for US 30. We've seen also US tech dropping across board. So it's been a very chaotic time in the markets. Of course, we expected this price move, but not in this level, right? Not in this level. Please confirm if you can see my screen. Ensure you confirm for me if you can see my screen. Let me know if we're together. Okay, Arma said yes. Thank you so much. Beautiful. So give me a few seconds while the chat loads. Liberty Williams said yes. Thank you. So it's been a very chaotic month, right? Even last month till now. February was a very month, right? February sold all through. And it's looking like March is going to repeat the same pattern, right? So technically speaking, for this month, we are heavily bearish on the market until we see suggestion, not even from technical aspect now, from technical analysis, but from fundamental. What is President Trump saying, right? Is he using a move on tariff on China again? If he does that, then you want to see the market rally a bit, right? There has been a roller coaster of I'm going to put tariff and then the market tank. I'm using the tariff again, the market rise. So it's not anything technical that is pushing the price as we speak, right? So the best you can do is use technical to, time the market. But in terms of actively looking for where the market is going to turn, where we're going to start seeing, active bullish run to the upside, it is purely based on what President Trump is doing. All right, let's look at our technicals this morning and then make sense of what we have, right? On the US 30, on the daily time frame, we can see that we are, having a temporary bullish move in the market, right? Price has moved, and then of course it's in a, we didn't say a range, but within this higher time frame range. Let me mark out something within this zone and this zone, right? So minor structure, we are very, very bearish. We are very, very to the downside, right? However, these are some very important things we can notice from here. We have this fair value gap just below here. So we were looking forward to buy from this other block last week, right? Which, of course, we saw some reaction because at that time, even the conversation around tariff was not really solid, right? So the market was responding, it's going to respond, buying to the upside. We saw some green candles, and before you know, the announcement came again, everything tanked to the downside. So much more than other block. I mean, you should look at what is happening on X, right? That's Twitter. Okay. We have a fair value gap around here, and then price is currently, we have tested the fair value gap once, and 50% of the fair value gap looks as if, of course, we have another one just below. 50% of the fair value gap, from a technical analysis perspective, we should expect that price is going to move from 50% of the fair value gap, right? That we're going to see something around this zone, like a rejection to the upside, because just beside the fair value gap it was like a breaker block on the higher time frame, right? So we expect that price is going to push from this zone. We're going to see some level of reaction off the zone for markets to start buying to the upside. Technical analysis. Why, if this is going to hold, right? We expect that we're going to see some level of fundamental news to also back it up, right? Giving us that confidence to take trade in the market. That's what we're seeing on the daily time frame. For US 30, let's go to the 4-hour time frame. On the 4-hour time frame, it's clear we are that zone we marked out last week Thursday, where we said that for any reason price violates this other block, this entire price action around here, it's another block on the daily time frame. For those that were on the market call on Thursday, last week Thursday, both the London and New York session, you will remember that we said that for any reason price violates that daily time frame order block, which it has done, we are going to anticipate a buy from this zone, right? And the buy is because this price action below here will serve as inducement. This will be like the new inducement in the market, right? And then price is going to come to 50% of this fair value gap, which on the left-hand side coincides with a breaker block that has been violated strongly on the 4-hour time frame. So all of the things playing out now, it's something we had anticipated. Of course, not in the way price did its thing, but then it's part of our projection last week. So this is a breaker block around here, right? Which price violated, or that it's a order block that price violated, and it turns to a breaker block, right? So we're expecting that price is going to come down to at least 50%, right? We should see that 50% fill of fair value gap for it to start moving to the upside, right? This is everything being equal if we don't have a shift in fundamental news. So for today, while we are waiting for the buy, if for any reason we see price come to its previous shoulder, for those that uses box pattern, you will notice that we have something similar around here, right? So if for any reason we see price tap into this zone before buying to the upside, then we should expect that we're going to see something like this. Say something like this, price coming to this zone and then sell off for us to start pushing again, right? So we can expect something like this today in the market, right? If this buy setup is going to hold, but if for any reason Trump is going ahead to implement the 10% tariff on China today, be rest assured we should see the market selling off, right? We should see the market sell off, and if the market sells off, we can enter from here, from this zone. Once price come back to this level, we can start entering the position, right? Scaling in and then ride it to the downside, provided the fundamentals suggest that the tariff is still going to continue. So this is what we're looking at on US 30 this morning. Hopefully, we are going to see how markets react to all of this by New York session. That's by 2 p.m. in the afternoon. All right. So let's go to the next one, which is the US 100. That's the Nasdaq. So on the daily time frame on Nasdaq, we are very, very bearish, right? We are very, very bearish. And for those that understand box strategy, you will see that on the daily time frame, we have a box strategy already that's been formed. Price has swept all of our liquidity, all liquidity that was resting below throughout last week. Throughout February, price came down to sweep all of them, right? And for those that understand box pattern, you see that something is happening here, right? We have a sweep, a break to the downside. Price has swept through this former previous high, and what we have seen a break to the downside. We have a break again to the downside, right? Have a break to the downside, and price has given us that break to the downside. What do we expect? At least the price is going to come back to to these levels. The fair value gap level. We have two fair value gap here. I want to see something interesting around this zone. Have a fair value gap here, and we have another fair value gap just above, right? Have another fair value gap just above here. So I want to see price, I want to see price retest somewhere around this level, and we start seeing that push to the downside again, somewhere around there, for it to go down, or second one is price coming all the way up to this zone. Then continue to the downside. So all of this analysis is predicated on the fact that Trump goes ahead with the tariff on China, and probably on Canada, and the other Mexico, right? And so he hasn't said anything as regards this one recently. So these are our analysis for today. Of course, these are temporary sell-off in the market, right? These are temporary sell-off in the market, but as it stands today, this is what the market is giving us in terms of analysis, technical analysis, right? Let's go to the 4-hour time frame and see if we have something very interesting for us to even trade on in terms of 4-hour time frame. None for now, just have a clear liquidity sweep around this zone. You've had a clear liquidity sweep on the 1 hour time frame. There's something or 2 hour. No. Okay, on the 1 hour time frame, I think I saw this earlier this morning. So we have another, box pattern on the 1 hour time frame, which is very valid, right? And so if for any reason price does not move immediately to our point of interest on the daily time frame, this is a very good box pattern on the daily time frame that we can also even leverage on, right? So let me just mark it out and then we see. So we have a sweep here, price sweeping through the previous low, and then we had a break to the downside, breaking all of this. We had a break of structure here, right? And then what do we expect? Normal box pattern, we expect that price is going to come into this level. We have a fair value gap just above it, just above this region. Let me mark it out. Yeah, fair value gap just above it, and then another block below. So we expect that price is going to respect one of these area of interest, and then we start seeing a tank to the downside, right? This is also predicated on the fact that President Trump continues with the tariff on China, right? If that happens, then we should see all of these price movements that we've stated. Of course, you ask me, where will be your SL? Your SL will just be above here. Unless you're a student that you can, if you're a student, you can refer into the MP5. You understand what we're looking for already. You know some of the techniques we use to enter on the MP5 time frame to get a more refined entry. All right. That being said, this will be our analysis for today for US 100 and also for S&P for US 30. Quickly on S&P 500, almost the same thing that we have on S&P 500, right? So we can see what I said, it's almost the same thing, right? As the US 100, one we just checked now, right? There's the analysis. You can see a box pattern set up, right? Price sweeping through the previous high, and what we had is drop, a sharp drop to the downside, price tanks to the downside, breaking structure, and then what do we expect? We want price to come back to this other block level for us to start selling off, right? Price coming back to this other block level, and what? It starts selling off, or we see price coming to here, this fair value gap, and then start to sell off, right? One of those has to happen, and will eventually happen, provided fundamentals still remains the same. Okay, that's all for today. Let me know in the comment section. Do we have any question? Mr. Kokobaye, sorry if I didn't get the pronunciation correctly, and Oladipo and Uruma, do we have any question? Do we have any question? Let me know in the comment section. Do we have any questions so far? Let's look at it and together, and also let me know if this analysis was helpful to you. Let me know. Uruma said it's clear. Thank you. I'm waiting for Oladipo and the third person. Is it helpful? Clear and helpful. Thank you so much. It's awesome. Thank you for your response, clear and helpful. By 2 p.m., we'll be coming back again for the New York session market color, where we discuss, if there's any changes in the market or something new or any analysis that needs to be done again. We'll look at it together. Oladipo said very clear. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining. By 2:30, we'll convey. And I wish you all a profitable trading. Cheers and God bless everyone.